All right, so today I will be presenting on how to turn your nerves into a supervisor and heating like a train. Right? This is a pretty interesting topic that I decided to go about. So, in order to successfully teach this, I'm going to need some volunteers.
You already got your volunteers right here.
So I need 2 for right now, and then I'm gonna use everybody's gonna be a volunteer. So matter of fact,
No, I'm gonna be here.
wait. Let me tell y'all what I need, because what I'm requiring requires you to know something.
Oh,
So, who knows how to shadow box? Now, you know there's 2 types of shadow boxes now. Yeah, see. That's the shadow box I grew up with, right? I'm not talking about that one. Yes.
I know how.
Yeah, let me get y'all 2. Let's go.
Jelly's too.
All right.
Hey.
Y'all come on up. All right, so let's have you guys do shadow boxing first, and then we'll have you guys explain to everybody.
This is tough. Oh.
Alright, so now everybody knows how to. Does anybody not know how to shadow box? Let me see your hand. We got 1, I got 2, I got 3. Alright, so basically the coaches know how to shadow box. Alright, do like maybe a 45 to 30-second presentation on how to shadow box.
You want to start me? So you just point any direction, and like if the other person like looks that same direction, then you go 3 times. It's like when you did it, I went sideways, down, up.
Yeah, like if they get it, you have to do the same way and pick a new way. Then you have to get 3 in a row to win.
Yeah, exactly. So, with that being said, this is going to be a competition, and you guys are going to move around a lot, so don't get used to being where you sit. So, all right, so what we're going to do is everybody's going to pick somebody that's right next to them. You're going to shadow box them. Listen, here's the rules. If you lose, you move to this side of the room. Once you lose whatever you lose, you go over here. You win, you go on this side of the room. All right, then we're going to move on. So, go ahead and pick somebody, and you have 1 minute. You have 1 minute to get it done, or you both lose. All right, hey, I'm about to start in 3, 2, 1. All right, so like I said, I am focusing on turning your nerves into superpowers, right? Competing like you train. With that being said, who's ever felt nervous before a match? Right? I think everybody has felt nervous. You feel something. Right? Before you go out there and compete, you feel a little bit of anxiety creeping in. Right? So the objective today, we're going to understand what nerves really are, right? Why we get that feeling. We're going to learn how to turn those nerves into focus, right? Or superpowers, as I like to call it. And then we're going to build a match day mindset to compete the way that you train, right? So those are the things that hopefully by the end of this presentation you can take with you and take back to your wrestling rooms. All right, so what's some of the match day nerves that we feel?
Like failing.
You feel like you're failing?
Like you feel like you're gonna fail.
You feel like you're going to fail? Okay, better, yes. What else? Yeah, butterflies, yep. You feel butterflies in the stomach?
Scared you're gonna let down your team or something?
Scared you're going to let down your team, especially doing dual shifts, right? Yeah.
Excitement.
Excitement, okay, that's a different one. What are you excited like? What do you feel? When you're excited to wrestle? Nice, I like it, I like it.
You're scared. Like, I'm nervous. Now I said like that. Now
Yeah, okay. Good, good. So when we have those feelings, right? All of that stems from what was spoken about earlier with the flight or fight response, right? You're either gonna attack the bear or you're gonna run away from the bear instantly. Like your body's already decided what you're gonna be able to do. So you said you felt excited. Somebody said excited over there. Who was that? That was, you're right, okay, so he felt excited. So he probably has that fight response, right? He's excited for the opportunity, ready to go out there and fight. Some people are kind of afraid you're gonna let down. Some people are like, no, I don't know. I don't think I want to put myself in a situation because I'm not prepared for it yet. So, different type of feelings that we have. The next one is, you know, you get that rapid heartbeat, get those shaky hands, maybe even start sweating a little bit, right? Those nerves, that dry mouth. I know dry mouth is really hard for us to really grasp the rest of this. Probably things from dehydration, right? But that's also a part of being nervousness. Right? And you've got to realize that it's a normal feeling. Everybody feels it. Even Olympians feel that way before they step out onto that mat. Right? There's been tons of times I actually got the privilege to be with Coach Bezick, which runs the Northern Michigan Training Center. And we was out there talking, and it just so happens he was talking about his first experience going into the World Championships. You know, because he was actually the number 3 guy on the ladder, and I think Jake Fisher at the time was number 1 guy on the ladder, right? And he was just happened to be Jake Fisher's training partner. They're out of whatever country they're competing at, and then they're wrestling, and Jake breaks his ankle, right? So he's like, the Olympic coaches are like, hey, what do we do right now? Do we call number 2 over, right? Hey, we got to get you on this flight. We got to get you here. Always say, hey, Bezik's been here. He's been training. He's ready. Let's see what he's got, right? So just imagine how he was feeling at that point in time. Like he didn't even expect to compete. Now, oh my God, I'm competing at the World Championships. That nervousness feeling is sinking in. So we'll get more into that. We had a couple of different more stories from him on that. So I'm saying all of that to say this: nerves can help you, right? That butterfly feeling. That, ooh, I'm about to step into this mat, start shaking. It can be turned into a superpower, right? So adrenaline, everybody's heard of this word, right? All right, so adrenaline equals focus and power. There's tons of stories that I've heard growing up where you see like if there's a child that was ran over by a car or something, and a mom just picks up the car, right? Like a 600-pound car. They're like, when did that happen? Like, she didn't train for that. But she had that adrenaline running through her veins. She had that focus, that power, right? Yes.
In Paul, broke the world, and how he did that is he got hypnotized. That he had to save his wife and kids. Kind of like
Exactly.
He had to get like a legit hypnosis person.
Yeah.
Got hypnotized. And so like he said that he didn't know he was born in the bar. He said he was born in the car off his wife and kids.
Exactly.
And then that's how he turned it over.
Yep. So all of that comes from adrenaline, right? Turn it into focus and power. Let's use what our body's giving us into success. So what we need to do is learn how to control these nerves. Because if you can control them, you can get better performance. I really love your answer when you said you feel excited, right? Because you're turning that into an excitement because it's an opportunity to compete, right? It's an opportunity to display what you've been working on. Practice is hard. It's long days, it's grindy, leaks. You know, it's like all for that 6 minutes. 6 minutes. So the key is don't fight the nerves, learn to work with them. All right, so here comes the anxiety. I think I was talking to a couple of you guys earlier about some anxiety. There is a difference between performance anxiety, lack of confidence, and lack of preparation. Those are 3 things that all equate to, I think I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself here. You got to know the difference, and all 3 of those things equate to poor performance, right? When we get onto the mat. right? Are you having poor performance because of lack of preparation, lack of confidence, or is it honestly your anxiety and you know how to deal with it? One of the coaches presented earlier about, I think it was about you gotta know your why, right? Why, you can have something to fix performance anxiety, fix the confidence, fix the preparation, but we have to know why are we having this performance issue, right? It's one of those three. So if it's lack of preparation, and that stems from not being ready to practice. We've been hitting them at all week. You gotta be a good partner. You can't just be a lame dude or just let somebody get the 2-on-1, right? You gotta not make them fight for it, but make them work for it. Be a good partner. Good training environments is gonna create and foster a good performance in a good competitive environment, right? So be a good partner. If you skip reps, that's another keyword I've been hearing about a lot this week is reps. Gotta get the reps. If the coach says do 25, you do 20. If coach says do 25, you do 24. Right? There's a quote that I heard, I don't know if it was a quote, but there was a list. And if it was 99.9% was good enough, then 6,000 or 600,000 babies would go home with the wrong parents every single year. Wow. That's a huge number, right? 99.9% sounds like so small, but in the grand scheme of things, think about it. That's a big number. So if somebody says 30, do the 30. If your goal is to do 100 shots a day, do 100 shots a day. Don't skip the reps. Let's see, feeling confused, slow, glazed early, right? If you got slow reaction time, it's probably because you didn't have enough repetitions getting the actual practice time in. Lack of confidence, right? I think you said earlier you don't feel like you're gonna let your team down, right? So you gotta believe in yourself. You're doubting your ability, right? Even if you train hard, you still haven't doubted your ability. You're thinking back on your past failures or negative self-talk. Like earlier this week, somebody was talking about, I'm weak. Oh, I cringe every time I heard it because it's negative self-talk. I don't want to do negative self-talk. You gotta be positive. You gotta believe in yourself, right? It's one of my favorite books growing up was The Little Engine That Could, right? I don't know if you guys, read that book? It's such a great book, right? It's about this little engine and he's going up this hill. He's just trying to get up the hill. He's like, I think I can, over and over and over. All the big trains doubted him was like, you're never gonna make it up this hill, you're too small, you're not big enough engine, right? But he believed in himself and got up that hill. So, positive self-talk. And another thing is you feel like you don't belong. Like I know, especially being in this environment, right? You're at the Olympic Training Center. You feel like, man, do I really belong here? Like I cannot believe I'm getting the same instruction that Jordan Burroughs received, right? I'm stepping on the same mats that Jordan Burroughs on. Like I'm not that good yet. Like you can't think that way. Like you are on the path to be great. Whether you want to, well, I mean, I hope ideally you want to. Right? You want to be great in some capacity. You might not make it to that Olympic level, but if you train like you're going to be in that Olympics, you're going to be all right. And then the performance anxiety, which is everything we already talked about earlier. Performance anxiety is more mental than anything, right? It has nothing to do with your physical. It's more mental. Again, the fears of failures and those expectations, right? Others people's expectations on us, we don't want those, right? Those create performance anxiety. Create your own expectations. You'll be fine. So, don't confuse nerves with not being ready, right? There's a big difference between that. It's okay to have anxiety, right? If you've done the right things, if you've done everything you need to do in practice. But it is not okay not to be prepared. So that being said, there is a method to this. So everybody over here, right? I think it's from this part on, y'all lost the first round. All right, so now you guys are doing paper rock scissors, the person to the next thing. If you lose paper, rock, scissors. And again, everybody's gonna be moving a lot, so I hope y'all don't get too situated in your seat. Once you lose paper, rock, scissors, you are in the back, right? In the far back. If you win, go back over here. That's over here. Over here, shadow box. Right? Shadow box, paper, rock, scissors. All right, so I'm gonna give you guys 3 tools. 3 tools to help you with your pre-match getting ready, right? So the number one thing is breathing. We talked about that earlier. Breathing is important. The next one is going to be routine, and I'm going to go over these in a little bit more detail, and then visualization. So breathing. Breathing is big. So I don't know if I share with some people, not a lot of people. I actually am a yoga instructor when I feel like I'm doing it. And we do a lot of breath work, right? Breathing makes sense. I believe it was Mike talking earlier, talking about the nervous system, right? When we breathe and breathe out and we practice breathing, you can make it go faster so you can get more arousal in this. So, breathe. I want to breathe from my diaphragm, right? I want to breathe in deep. I want to let it out. I'm going to go into another breathing technique. But before I go into this breathing technique, I am going to talk about this match. So, DJ versus Johnny. Pretty sure everybody's already talked about this match lots of times. However, there is a point in this match, right before the match begins. I was watching Yanni, and as he walks onto the mat, he walks up. I think I'll let him do it. Let me see if you guys catch on to it. Hopefully this works. I don't know, I haven't tried it yet. Doesn't look like it's working. It's working a little bit earlier. But it's okay. I think I can be a good substitute for it. So anyway, what he does. So Matt, let me get you. Come on here. Yeah. Come on. All right. We can work this out. I seen this match. So we'll pretend like it's JV right now, and I'm Yanni coming up. So this is the line. You stay right here, right? And if you want to go back and watch this video, you can. He walks up to the line, and before he walks up, he lets it all out. Goes and he shakes his hand. He gets up 9-2 and then just loses it somewhere. So, breathing is very important, right? And I like to visualize. I like to think of, so in yoga we talk about breathe in your fears, breathe in everything you have to do, breathe in your anxiety, breathe in things that are just weighing you down, and then you just let it all out. So, like, man, I know I'm kind of, everybody's waiting on me, the city's depending on me, you know, my mom is paid like $10,000 for me to make it to this point in life. I have a lot of stress on me right now. You just got to breathe it in and just let it out, right? So there's a couple of breathing techniques that we do, especially in yoga, that we talk about. And it's called box breathing. You inhale for 4 seconds, you hold it for 4 seconds, and then you exhale for 4 seconds, and then you hold it again at the bottom for 4 seconds, right? Doing this technique resets the nervous system, right? It helps the jitters that you get. It's like, is everything's okay in that moment? So give it a try, right? So everybody, on the count of 3, we're gonna breathe in for 4. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Right? And you repeat that 3 times. Okay? That might happen too. But yeah, just let it out and you'll be okay. Right? Before you go into the mat, you want to find a place where you're not super relaxed, but you want to find yourself at ease. You want to be okay. You want to get close to the flow state as possible. Right? So this is what I would do before a warm-up. Right? This doesn't replace the warm that your coach is doing. This is like before it's go time. We're saying that you're on deck, right? Maybe you're in the hole. You're getting yourself ready. So that's there. The next tip is a routine, right? Having a routine is very important. You gotta have a routine in your warm up. It's gotta be a certain way that you warm up. There has to be, maybe it's you're listening to music. Coach said that earlier. Cues are huge. Cues are one word or like some type of quote. And I think what kids like to use nowadays is lock in, right? Like lock in, that's automatic, reset, refocus. We gotta make this happen, right? Paper, rock, scissors, I gotta win. Shadow box, I have to win. I'm locked in right now. Reset, refocus, get it done. All right, and so I call this my PJ skit. One of my coaches from college had all these crazy sayings, right? And one of his favorite sayings he would say is he's 165 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal. When he's on his feet, he can't be beat. You know, when he's on top, he doesn't stop, right? He does all these really random, crazy raps, right? So, what you guys are gonna do is you're gonna figure out what your routine is. I'm pretty sure you already know what your routine is. I hope you know what your routine is. If you don't, you're gonna figure it out. So here's a couple of things that you guys can check out. You can turn into a group of whatever. I don't care how many people is around you. Just get into a group, share a couple of things that you do, take to some people, give to something else. And you have 1 minute to figure that out. Ready, set, go. Some people care to share? What you got? Anybody wants to share? Yeah, what you got?
A lot of us said like we get our arms loosened up by our coaches, listen to music. Just like they just lock in.
Just lock in. Pull ups. You guys got anything? What you got?
I normally listen to the same song like over and over.
On repeat?
Yeah, kind of changes sometimes.
Yeah.
Then right before I'll smack my coach's hand, and then I like doing like a chest jump as I check my hand.
Okay. What's the song? I'm curious.
Right now, it's called the King's Activation.
King's Acclamation.
Affirmation.
Affirmation. Oh, excuse me. I like it. Anybody else?
I listen to the same song like before every match, like until like if I lose, switch the song.
I hear you.
Right now it's how to bid.
It's what?
How to bid.
How to. You know what? It's funny that we're talking about routine right now because anybody heard of know the difference between a routine and a ritual? Yeah. What you got? What's the difference? All right. So a ritual will be something like if every tournament I always have a blue water bottle, right? If I don't have my blue water bottle, I'm not gonna have a performance, right? Now, is that really have any part of my performance? No. Right? But mentally, I think that it will, because that's my blue water bottle. It got me through my state championship. That's what I've always had, was that blue water bottle. But in reality, that blue water bottle wasn't with me when I was working out in the practice room. It wasn't with me when I was running those sprints. It might have been with me at the dinner table, but that's about it. Right? So
I got like, so I wear the same shoes every match of the whole high school season.
Yep.
And this year I was at this tournament. It's called Rumble on the Red, and it was like about to be second day. I was checking my weight. And there was like a ton of kids around, and like I went to grab my stuff, and my shoes were gone.
Mm-hmm.
So like that happened to me, and I was geeking the whole night. But then like I was like running around the tournament trying to find kids with a pair of freaks,
Yeah.
so I could buy them, because like I was tweaking about it. But then I still won, so it was fine.
So it had no impact on your performance at all, but it just messed with you a little
I was
bit.
like, before my match, I was like, yeah, I gotta lock in.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
I was like, I can't worry about it.
Use those keywords. Exactly. I love it. I hate that you lost the free. All right. So the big thing, it is very important to keep your routine. Very, very important. So if you don't know it, all Write it down. Like, actually, not bad. I had an athlete the other day ask me, Coach, what is my routine? Right? And I just picked up an excuse and say, actually, you know, you always do this, you do that. You sit down, you jump rope for about 2 minutes, and then you pace. You know, so it's, if you don't know, it's okay to ask somebody like, hey, what are some of the things you've noticed that I do during the match or right before my match? Right? Get some feedback from your peers and your coaches. All right, and then the last part is the visualization part. Right? Coach did a great job of hitting on that today. So only thing I'm really gonna harp on is the mental reps. You get mental reps the same way you get physical reps, right? If I gotta want to shoot 100 shots, right? Maybe I need to do mental reps, especially if if the reason for my poor performance is lack of confidence. You know, my coach used to always say you gotta lie to yourself every day, right? You gotta look in the mirror and tell yourself you're great. You have to believe that you're a state champ or a national champ before anybody else does. If you don't believe it, right, who else is gonna believe it? You have to believe in yourself. So mental reps, positive self-talk. Tell yourself something that you do good every day. I have the greatest shot in the world, right? Nobody can stop my shot. Best, in my eyes, and I'm gonna be super honest, I think I have the best front headlock in the world, right? I really don't care. And nobody else is gonna tell me anything, right? You gotta believe it. You just have to believe it. This is how it has to be. Lie to yourself until it becomes reality. Yeah, that would be good right there. And then the match focus, which we'll go into this match focus here in a little bit. So, Coach, like I said earlier, did a really good job of talking about this when he was talking about the arousal points, right? Those 5 sensories, anybody remember those? What was it, the hearing, and then the touch, what else? Taste, smell, right? Smell is such an underrated part. Like he said, you can smell it at the gym. Right? He's like, I remember vividly how something smelled. Anybody got that? Like any gyms that y'all been into? Everybody's had success at some point. So maybe your favorite tournament you've been to, y'all remember how that gym smelled? Right? Yeah.
So Coach, I got one.
Yeah.
And it's so weird. I was just laughing with Coach. But Carver Hawkeye Arena, I kid you not.
Yeah.
Like it's such a unique smell in that gym.
Yeah.
Am I right? Am I right? Am I right, Coach?
Now, whenever you smell that smell, does it instantly take you back to that moment?
I just got goosebumps down my arm
Like,
thinking
it
about
takes you right back to that moment instantly. So, smell is one of the actual quickest ways to get into that arousal point. And we talk about arousal point, and I'm not like a super sports psychologist. I'm just a really fan of it. I know arousal is one of the keys needed to get you to what's called that flow state. Am I right? Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's make sure I'm right. You know. All right. So, time for another round. We are getting down to the. So ideally, there's only going to be one champion, right? You know that there's going to be one champion there. So, winners play winners. Rock, paper, scissors, play rock, paper, scissors. Oh, and in the people that went on too, y'all have the most important part. Your job is to hype up somebody. Create that stressful environment right there. We're going to talk about why you don't perform like you practice. Anybody know anybody who is a practice national champ? Right? You got those people in your room, right? Like they are just great at practice. I mean, they hit everything, they execute, they perform well, but for some odd reason, it's not translating to the mat. So, right? And one reason for that could be you're focusing on the outcome and not on the effort, right? You're focusing on, again, if I lose this match, right? Our brains are very powerful, right? So if I focus on the negatives, if I say, what if I lose? What if I do this? What if I do that? What if you win? Right? What if you win? But again, that's still part of the outcome, right? Focus on your efforts. Control the controllables. Control what you can control. You can control what? Being disciplined, being in your stance, moving your feet, right? Your setups. Those are the things that you can control. I can't control anything else. I can't control about the referee. I can't control how my opponent, reacts to my setups, but I can control what I do. So if I do that, I'm gonna be okay. Don't think about the outcomes, think about your effort, right? And then back to the routine. You change your routine, right? And again, I'm not talking about the ritual, the blue water bottle. I mean, maybe you didn't put your music on, maybe you didn't get your body ready. You didn't get to that state that you needed to be at so you can perform the way you need to perform. Stick to the routine, believe in the routine, right? You're overthinking. You like, my opponent, he got really big muscles, he's taller than me, I only weighed in, 1 pound underweight, he barely made weight, so he's cutting, he's gonna be big, like, overthinking. Just go wrestle. What do you think about all this stuff? Don't overthink, wrestle, and then you stop trusting your instincts, right? When we're in the practice room, we're building repetition, we're building habits, right? If the coach is putting you through these routines and you're doing everything that you are believing, and you believe in your training, trust your instincts, right? Let it happen. Don't be like, I typically would have, I should have, like, don't be that wrestler that said I should, right? Go out there and do it, make it happen, right? And accept the responsibilities and be accountable for the actions that happen, right? And don't be afraid to go out there and make things happen. Trust your instincts, right? And then perception. Again, we talked about it earlier. You got the weight of everybody. You're like, if I go out there and lose this match, or if I hit this move, I'm gonna look silly. People are gonna laugh at me, or people are gonna, people are gonna say I should wrestle better than this. They're gonna, like, who cares? Don't let other people's perception of you or perception of your performance affect your performance. Right? Believe in yourself. Wrestle. Don't care what people think. People think I'm weird all the time. I don't care. Like, just be you and love you. So, competition mode versus practice mode. I'm gonna hit on this really quickly because I feel like we've been talking about this a lot. So, these are some key differences between, I guess I kind of cheated and did the other two. So, anybody want to give me some differences between practice mode? So, I already talked about the heart rate's probably lower in practice, right? You focus on trying and experimenting. One of the coaches hit on earlier this week. Practice is where you experiment. What else? What's some key difference between practice and competition? Yeah.
Most of the time you're wearing shorts and.
Okay. You know what? That's a really good point.
What did he say?
So most of the time you're wearing shorts in practice, but in the match you're wearing a singlet, right? So that plays into a little bit. That talks about what Coach talked about earlier about the feel, right? So I talked about that. Yeah. Pressure. It's right. It's not as much pressure. You're absolutely correct. Yeah, what you got? You did not have to make weight for practice. Now that's going into a little bit of nutrition. Last one, go ahead.
Most of the time, you know the person you're wrestling.
Most of the time, you know the person you're wrestling. That is true. That is very true. So, to add on to those things, mistakes are learning tools, and feedback is constant, right? So you're getting constant feedback from your coaches. Hey, you didn't put your chin in the right place, or you didn't take that step. You left your feet. You didn't use your feet, right? You're getting that feedback is instant, immediate. The difference between competition mode is your heart rate is going to be higher, right? You're going to focus on execution and confidence, right? You're going to have some confidence when you go into that match. Like we said, have confidence. Don't lose the match because you have lack of confidence. And mistakes cost points. Prime example, I have a really good example. There's a guy who was on my team. He actually won the Chalice Award, right? He won the Chalice Award last year or 2 years ago, which means he has the most pins between Division 1, 2, 3 of all the ACA athletes. He has the most pins. And he went to the national tournament and got third, right? And he was walking through everybody all year. He made a mistake, a very costly mistake. We've been training a little bit of Greco. He went to go throw a guy and went straight to his back. He gave up 7 points in the first 15 seconds. And then he got turned again, and he was down 11-0, right? It was crazy. It was a match. He actually battled back through that match to lose by 1 point, believe it or not. But it was too late. The mistake was costly. You know, so what happens. And then feedback. Feedback comes after. You get your feedback after the match. So these are some differences between, you know, your compete mode and your practice mode. So I'm saying that to say you want to practice like you compete, right? One of my favorite quotes I like to say is you don't rise to the occasion, you rise to the level of your training, right? And that is so true, right? If you're used to only getting a Russian, you know, like, let me get a Russian, work this stuff. Let me work into how I'm getting this, work on those setups, work on those movements, right? If you do those things, you train the right way, you should be fine in practice. You got to simulate. So that goes back to what you were saying earlier about the shorts and then the singlets, right? If there's a difference, people are going to be more sweaty, right? When they're in the singlet. So that means that when I'm gripping this move, it typically can work in practice because I have a shirt to help in the match. I might not be able to, right? And then also what's even bigger than that is mental, right? You feel more air on your skin when you have in the singlet, right? You just have to be in there, be in that environment, right? It helps simulate the match. So we want to make sure that in practice that we're simulating not just the physical component about our singlets, but also, you know, stress, right? I don't want to, if I hit the high cross every day and it's so easy and simple, my partner's giving me no resistance, there's no stress, right? It's not being successful out there. I need to have stress in practice, right? And then pressure reps, getting stress reps, back pressure reps. That's what we're hitting on, right? So a couple of things you can do. You should do some live takedowns, right? A couple of distractions. You know, there's distractions in the competition environment. Some distractions will be like music, right? Some competitions I've gone to, they play music. Other crowd, right? There's a crowd. Oh my God, I can hear all those. Right? You don't hear that in practice. Sometimes you practice on the silent. Some practice on type of music. Simulate having those distractions while you compete, right? And the number one objective of all this is to lock in under pressure, right? So we gotta have a mental game plan if you want to have your best pre-match performance. So here's our checklist. Stick to your routine. Gotta breathe. Trust your instincts and focus on your effort. Right? So I don't want to leave you guys without giving you guys it's another game I like to do. Red light, yellow light, green light. Right? So red light. If you're on the red light, that means you're freezing. You feel overwhelmed. Your mind is blank. You're stuck in fear, right? You're like, you see that? You got that blank look on your face, like, oh my gosh, I'm about to go here and compete. So, reset. Do that breathing box that we talked about earlier. Use your reset word. If lock in is your reset word, use it. Move your feet. Sometimes just getting your feet moved, right? Doing those fast feet helps getting everything going. Yellow. Notice where you are on the card. If you're on a yellow, right, you're overthinking, right? You don't feel overwhelmed, you're just overthinking. You just, what if I do this? What if I do this? What if you do this? What if I do that? You're overthinking. You have doubt, you have hesitation, and then you're hesitating on your attacks. Like, it was there. Right? So, you gotta have confidence, you gotta have a cue word, you know, make eye contact and clap your way out of it, right? I see some people do this, right?
Wait, like make eye contact with your op?
No, I mean, it was like sometimes you gotta look in, like to yourself, without what you say.
Oh, I thought you were like staring.
Nah, I'm not gonna stare. I'm not gonna do the staring contest. You know, like look inside. You like, all right, I'm ready. Or maybe just look in the mirror. You know, it's like you got this. And then if it's green, you're ready. You're persistent. You're ready. You're present. You have a clear mind. You trust your reactions and you trust your training. That's another thing. You have to trust your training. Believe in your coaches. You have good coaches, believe in you. Right? Do your routine. Have your routine checked. Do your deep breaths. And do your posture check too. Right? Don't be slumped all over like, get someone to guard here. Russell, like, no. Chest up, head up, be proud. Be proud of yourself and what you've done. Last round. Last on the shot box. So we have 8 people left, right? 8 people over there shadow boxing, and we have 8 people over here doing it. Let's go ahead and eliminate. So we're at the elite 8. Let's get to the semifinals. Semifinals is here upstairs. Only one champion league. This is your redemption. Come on, Kurt. Finals. Hey, let's go, Kurt! Hey, do it for us. Let's go,
He goes down for the second move.
You got this, Gerd.
Oh yeah, Gerd.
Let's go, Gerd.
Right, so this is it. You want to make sure that you compete with a purpose. Control what you can control. Trust what you've been trained. Use your routine and flip the switch. Right? Compete with confidence. So I know that these games seem so random, but I'm a competitor. I really don't care what I'm playing. Right? I'm gonna compete. Like when Coach had me up here doing this stuff, like I don't know what I'm doing. I was just like, I don't like to lose, so I'm gonna make it happen. Like even now I can't even get it right. But at that point in time, I was locked in and I was focused. Same with the shadow boxing. I don't know. You shadow box before? You ever shadow box before? Yeah? No? That was a little bit of something, but hey, he's a competitor, so that was really good. And then the last thing, remember, pressure is a privilege. It means you're in the arena, right? Be thankful for that, all these butterflies, because this moment doesn't last forever, right? Every coach can tell you, once it's done, right? Once you get like 15, 16, you're not gonna have that same arena. You're not gonna have that same enjoy it while it lasts. It's a privilege to be here. That's all I got. So,